Is the audio okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thanks, Colin. McNamara, 47 Grandview Street. I'll start off with a couple thank yous. I want to thank Mr. Patacini, Mr. Farrell, and Mr. Fairbanks for always running a good meeting. And Mr. Farrell and Mr. Fairbanks do a great job on the technical end, and I just want to say I appreciate their help. Secondly, I want to thank Mrs. Sika Leonard for her awesome act of heroism for helping out this guy, John, who was in a tight spot. That's awesome. There's so many selfless people in the Manchester public school system, and this is just validates that fact. I want to talk about the last meeting we had, and we had some testimony from Mrs. Dawn Cook, who was a newly former Manchester Public School employee, who kind of poured her heart out and explained what was going on, how a lot of people that had been dedicating a lot of time, many years, to the Manchester Public School system had kind of gotten cut loose in favor of satisfying budget requirements when the people in the trenches are continuing having to pay the price. Administrative costs continue to go up. And I want to say that there wasn't any mention of that entire exchange in the Journal and Enquirer newspaper. And it's indicative of when there is bad press aired at these meetings, it's almost never in the paper. That was like a boots on the ground report, and there's no mention of it in the paper, because I would almost speculate the media is kind of covering for the school system and its downward spiral. So if teachers and staff want to actually be heard, they're going to need to either band up and come as a united front for you guys, or do something on the back end. I sell things that I find on the side of the road. I found a couple of car seats the other day. I sold them. The people came to buy them from me. It turned out she was a teacher in the Manchester Public School Systems. Was like, I've seen your comments in the Board of Ed, and I just want to let you know that it's even worse than what is being, aired at the meetings. It's horrible. And that's, again, a Manchester Public School teacher relating that to me. But she says she can't speak up because she's afraid she'll lose her job. So what kind of work environment is that? It's not a safe and inclusive work environment. It's a lot of lip service. Mr. Meggers, the Republican minority leader, was talking about the budget issues last meeting, and he kept repeating this one sentence that said, like, I'm not an expert in school budgets. And I think you got to get with the program, because you might not be an expert, but you're expected to be one from the Manchester taxpayers. That's why they nominated you or voted for you to be the minority leader. And if anyone is expected to be an expert in budgets for schools, it should be you, along with the majority leader and Mr. Geary. You got to start doing more homework. You can't phone this in and be like, I'm not the expert. I think you repeated it 3 times. It doesn't lead to a lot of confidence in the voting public that the person who's supposed to be the ranking member doesn't really have a handle on what school budget should be or shouldn't be.
Thank you.
You got to start doing your homework. And lastly, I heard you guys have some money for the school lunch program grant, and that's great news.
Sorry, he was wrapping it up there.
I didn't do that.
Oh, Colin, you got muted.
Colin, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear him. We can't hear you.
You got me now?
You're good.
Okay, so you got the money from the school lunch programs. Hopefully you can put some of this money toward introducing the eating of insects to the children. I was at the library the other day. They had a book on the end cap in the children's library section. It said chocolate chirp cookie, like a grasshopper's chirping. And it was all about how you should actually be eating insects, and that's going to be healthy and sustainable. So we got to introduce insects into the kids' diet at school. It's the only way. So, hey, thanks for having me, and see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public that would like to address the board?